How's it going, everybody? Nick DiVirgilio here, and today's video is choosing the best snare drum on any budget. Let's go. My fellow drummers, we love our snare drums, don't we? We collect our snare drums because, listen, they offer a lot of different sound options for when we're in the studio recording for our band, or if you're a session musician and you need different sound options for a particular song. Different snares are a great way to go, and they're just easily collectible. Look at all the snare drums I have around me here. My job is so cool here at Sweetwater. I get to play with all of these things and get to know all of these drums and the companies behind the drums. And this is just a small sampling of the snares we have to offer here at Sweetwater. We carry a ton of different snares, for you to add to your collection. The purpose of this video today is to show you the different levels of drums, from more affordable up to really expensive, and what those drums have to offer, and like what makes a more expensive drum more expensive. What are the parts that make it more expensive and things like that. I'm gonna start with the more affordable drums and then work my way up to the more expensive drums as we go through this video. So I have 4 drums in front of me right here. The 2 right here in front of me, the SJC Pathfinder and the Pearl Modern Utility, under $200. The PDP Concept and the DW Design Black Nickel over Brass, great drums, under $300. So these are pretty affordable drums that have some really great features. Check it out, the Pearl Modern Utility drum. They built these drums on purpose for drummers to collect more sounds and to build up their sound arsenal of their kits. They're basic maple drums, but they have really nice bridge lugs, very easy throw off and strainer. By the way, throughout this video, if you hear buzz, ringing, and all that kind of stuff, that's because I'm sitting around, 17 snare drums, and getting the buzz out of my voice is just gonna be impossible. So we're gonna add, it's like ambiance. It's snare drum ambiance. So back to this drum. Nice tube lugs, very easy to use throw off and strainer. These are basic things, but they're built really well, and you're gonna get great sounds out of this drum no matter what style of music you're playing. Nice triple flanged hoops, brass fittings for the tension rods, great stuff. This SJC drum, again, basic, but what a killer look to it. Nice yellow finish, black hardware. Their shield lugs keep the tuning of this drum in shape no matter where. If you're cranking it up high, playing rock, down low and thuddy, no matter where you are, it's gonna stay in tune. Again, a very easy to use throw off and strainer. So one of the things that makes a more affordable drum affordable is they're able to mass produce the drums. They're not as custom. When we get up to the more expensive drums, they get way more custom built and there's a lot more features to offer, but that's what brings the price up. These drums are more mass produced. They can easily build these drums in a factory, and they're very consistent. So no matter what drum you're gonna get in the Modern Utility line, it's gonna be consistent right out of the box every time. Now let me get over to the PDP Concept over here and the DW Design series. Super cool drums, again, at a great price point. This is a hardy black nickel over brass beaded shell. That's really good looking. DW's mag throw off. That's one of the best throw offs you can buy on any snare drum at any price. Easily adjust your snare wire tension right there. The badge really stands out on top of this black nickel finish. Great design lugs. Again, easy, basic, but a great sound. Now the PDP Concept Maple, what a cool looking drum this is. Look at that finish, kind of olive green, beautiful. Again, mag throw off. The PDP Concept lugs, and you get a different size here. So, choosing the best drum on any budget, listen, it depends on what you're going for. A lot of the drums I have here are 6.5 by 14. It's a very typical size snare drum. But over here you have a 5 by 14. There's some 6 by 14s, and there's smaller drums as well. There's 3 by 14, and there's even smaller drums in diameter from 10, 12, 13, even bigger drums, 15s if you want. So you gotta think about what kind of music you're playing. And with that said, there's always a caveat. Even if you play a specific kind of music, all of these drums, even if they're more rock in this drum or a little more pop in this drum, you can play them in any style of music. It depends on how you tune them and what head combinations you have on the drum. I'll get into that in just a second. That was the first 4 drums in this little comparison here. I'm gonna switch these out for 4 more that are a little bit more expensive than these 4 here, and we'll compare the differences in what you get if you spend a little bit more money. Okay, I changed my mind. Instead of having 4 snares in front of me, I went to 6 snares in front of me because all 6 snares that I'm gonna show you right now are all under $400. But that's so cool, and these are awesome drums that can do so many things. So what do you get for a drum in this sort of range? Well, let me tell you what I have here real quickly. I have a Yamaha Tour Custom maple drum. I have a Pearl Masters maple drum. I have a Ludwig Black Magic, which is a brass drum. This is a Gretsch aluminum. This is the Grand Prix. A Tama S.L.P. Spruce, cool drum. And a pork pie brass drum with this super cool looking patina. So what you're getting here is even a little bit more in the looks category, even though that drum right back there, the DW Design, black nickel over brass, looks awesome for under $300. So, lots of cool features. I'm gonna start with the Ludwig right in front of me here. Now, most of you drummers know and have heard of the Black Beauty, the classic drum that's been used in so many recordings. It is one of the go-to snare drums. If you can afford one and you can get one and have in your collection, you will not be sorry. This drum is very close to the original Black Beauty. Very nice, easy to use throw-off and strainer. Really cool looking tube lugs and this gorgeous shell. You're gonna get a nice snap out of this drum. If you use a regular single ply head, this drum will rock in any style of music. I'm gonna switch over here to my right real quick here, the Gretsch Grand Prix, a fantastic aluminum drum. Again, a very easy to use throw-off and strainer. A sweet looking matte sort of finish on the aluminum shell here. The badge really stands out. One really cool thing that Gretsch did here is they gave you double flanged hoops, a sort of typical Gretsch thing. Double flanged hoops, you get the same crack and rim shot as a die cast hoop, but double flanged hoops like this are just not as heavy, okay? Really cool looking lugs. Sort of a beaver tail kind of thing on the lugs here. And just a nice basic drum that again will fit in all kinds of styles of music. Now listen, I have a few different kinds of woods and shells. We have brass, we have aluminum, spruce, maple, all that kind of stuff. It sort of gets down to your preference at this point, okay? Maple, you know, is a go-to, it's the go-to tone wood in drums. So many drums are made out of maple. Lots of hybrid drums are made out of maple and some other kind of wood. It is the go-to wood and you will always be able to get good sounds out of maple no matter what. But other woods just add a nice little tinge of flavor to the sound. This Tama S.L.P. Spruce drum over here has a nice crack to it. I've used this one in the studio, in Sweetwater Studios many times on all kinds of stuff, from basic sort of country tracks where you have to play really simple, but you just need a nice fat snare drum sound, to hard rocking stuff. Depends on where you tune it, but that spruce wood gives it a nice, a little bit warmer crack to the rim shot. You get sort of a double flanged hoop on this Tama S.L.P. It rolls over a little bit. If you feel it with your finger here, the flange sort of rolls over a little bit, but you get a great rim shot with this drum. One other cool thing about this Tama S.L.P. drum is the throw-off and strainer. Very easy to use ratchet style thing, okay? But if you want to change out the snare wires in the S.L.P., they did a really great thing, making it very easy for you. There's lug screws right here at the end. You take your key, which I happen to have one in my pocket right here, loosen them up on both sides. That's the strainer side, and on the butt plate side, you have the same thing. You can change snare wires on this drum in a flash by just loosening up these lugs, not having to pull out the string and tighten it back up or any of that kind of stuff. They make it super easy, and you also get to change the snare wire tension on both sides of the drum. What a great feature at a very affordable price. Let me switch over to this beauty right here. What a cool drum. Pork Pie Custom Patina. This is a brass drum, okay? Now, if you notice, the shell is very similar to the Ludwig right here. It's got the bead in the middle, so it's a brass shell. Great looking tube lugs, but this patina is really custom made. They could charge a lot more money for this drum for just this look alone. Pork Pie makes great custom drums, if you've never tried them. Nice triple flange tube. You get a professional Remo Ambassador head, and again, a basic but very easy to use and workable throw-off and strainer. Adjust the snare wire tension right there. When it comes to metal drums, whether you have aluminum shell, brass shell, or any other, like titanium, or any other thing that they make metal drums out of, I really suggest you try different heads. I really love dry heads on metal drums. So dry heads like an Evans ST or HT dry, a Remo P77. These will dry up the tone and take a little bit of the ping away from a metal drum shell, but leave you with fatness. You always want to have fatness out of your drum shell. Now, if you like that ping, which is great for certain styles of music, if you're playing punk or just some kind of, fast, heavy pop music, you're gonna want that crack out of the drum. So a single ply head like the Remo Ambassador will be perfect for that. Crank up the drum really high and get that snap out of the drum like you want. But definitely suggest trying different head combinations no matter what drum you buy. Last but not least, and this little quick 6 drum comparison of snares under 400 bucks is this Yamaha Tour Custom Maple snare drum. Let me grab it. What a killer drum for the price. This beautiful matte candy apple finish. Yamaha's absolute lugs, they have a nice look. You know, the way these lugs jump off of this red shell is fantastic. This drum comes with stick saver hoops, which is a triple flanged hoop that has the top flange sort of bent towards the inside of the drum. Usually a triple flanged hoop like this one on the Ludwig, the flange goes away from the inside of the drum. This it goes towards, which sort of, again, saves the stick a little bit, right? When you're doing all your rim shots, but gives you a nice soft feel for rim shots when you're digging into that drum. It's a nice feature on this drum here. The throw off and strainer on this drum are fantastic. Again, really easy to use, pull up ratchet style, but the tuning adjustments are great on both sides. This is the strainer side and the butt plate side. Easily change your snare wires on this system here. Strings instead of a strap. You can adjust on both sides, like I said, really dial in your sound. Professional Remo ambassador head right out of the box. A great drum that looks good and again will fit in all kinds of styles of music. The next 2 snare drums we're going to talk about right now are super cool and both under 500 bucks. I got the Mapex Sledgehammer and the DDrum Dios bamboo drum. Now, you're getting into some really cool features here because not only do these drums look great, they sound great, and have some really cool things that go about them. We're going to start with this Mapex. The hammered brass shell is the first thing you're going to notice. That looks amazing. You're going to get a nice crack out of this drum, loud, very sensitive when you play soft, but a nice crack and a great feel. Really beautiful lugs. The badge really stands out nicely. The throw off on strainer on this drum and a lot of Mapex drums are very cool. This one is a pullback style strainer, okay? Very easy, very smooth. They even put this sort of knurled knob on here on top of the strainer to adjust the snare wire tension. And another thing that's very cool with this drum is when you change the tension, it's notched on the inside, okay? So you go notch by notch and you can really dial in the exact tension that you want and then get back off of it really easily. That same knurled knob and the notched adjustment is on the butt plate side as well. So great features there. Remo coated ambassador head right out of the box. And again, stick saver hoops. So triple flanged and then that hoop rolls into the inside of the drum. A great looking drum at a really nice price. The next drum I'm gonna get into right now is this drum right here, the DDrum Dios bamboo snare drum. This is a super cool drum that has lots of really great features at this price point. It's 10 plies of bamboo wood. And bamboo is really hard wood, so you're gonna get a nice dry and focused sound out of this drum, coupled with die cast hoops. So cracking backbeat will come from this snare drum. Very easy to use, a throw off and strainer, pullback style. Evans drum head, right out of the box. Another cool thing about this drum is that you get some nice work on the edges on the inside. 45 degrees going on the inside and 30-degree rounded edge on the outside. So they thought of a lot and giving you a lot of special features for a drum at this price point. The next 3 drums I'm gonna talk about right now are all under 600 bucks, and you're getting up into that level of real professional drums that are classics in so many ways. The first one I'm gonna talk about right now is this guy right here, the Ludwig LM402 Supraphonic snare drum. Now, first thing you're gonna notice about this drum is that it's got tons of fingerprints on it and it looks used. Well, it is used. This is a go-to drum at Sweetwater Studios. We use this drum on so many sessions, it's crazy. This was John Bonham, drummer for Led Zeppelin, right? All those classic songs, this was his favorite go-to drum. It is a classic drum that will fit in any style of music and it just rocks. If you wanna play jazz or other kinds of music, you totally can, but this is a rocking snare drum that has proven itself to be one of the most classic drums of all time. Great imperial style lugs, a beautiful beaded drum shell, classic triple flanged hoops, very easy to use throw off and strainer, easily tunable. Right now I have it outfitted with an Evans UV1 head, but like I said earlier, you know, we change out heads in our snare drums in the studios all the time because it depends on what style of music you're playing and what you like to feel. Now, this head, the Evans UV1, gives this drum a nice wide open, bright and cracking sound. But I love, again, using those dry heads, the ST and the HT dry, the Remo P77. There are others as well that just dials in the ping a little bit of this great drum, and you can use it for so many things. This is a classic drum and worth every penny. The next drum I'm gonna talk about is this great drum right here, the Sonor SQ1. The way Sonor makes drums is amazing. Anything they make sounds good and can be used in any style of music. Now the SQ1 is their birch line, okay? We have a great SQ1, the full drum kit in the studios, that sounds amazing, and their snares are equally amazing. This drum rocks, this drum can jazz, this drum can funk. You play gospel music or anything like that, this drum has a great crack to it. Very easily tunable in all levels, from really high to really deep and thuddy. Get this beautiful, like kind of race car matte black finish. Really beautiful lugs on this drum, and the tuning rods stay in these lugs forever, no matter how hard you hit. They really built these lugs in a great way so the tuning stays where you put it for the longest time. The throw off and strainer on this Sonor drum is really special, very easy to use, but you can really dial in all of the sounds of the snare wires. Pull back like that, very easy to get it up, on and off, even while you're playing. You adjust the snare wire tension right there. This is notched on the inside as well, so you can really just get very specific changes in your snare wire tension. Very high end, very nice throw off and strainer. Butt plate side is equally cool. The notched adjustment right there. It's easy to change the snare wires. It is a beautiful design for a throw off and strainer. And the last one of these three is this fantastic drum right here. This is the Gretsch USA black copper snare drum. A really cool matte, sort of like almost, remember skateboard tape back in the day? It was a little bit rough. That's not what this is, but it just has that sort of feel to it when you rub your fingers across. It's a great look and a nice feel and a great drum. The first thing you'll notice about this drum is the size. It's a little bit shallower. This is a 5x14. This is gonna be a great drum for nice high-pitched, really great cracking backbeats. Triple flanged hoops on this drum, so again, to add to that sound. Beautiful Gretsch lugs. Loving the old style Gretsch throw off right here. Very easy to use, and it really pulls off the snare wires. They're really far away from the head, so you know once you take the snare wires off, they're not gonna buzz in the background at all. And then when you pull them on, it's just an easy flick of the finger. Good to go. Wide snare wires on this drum too, so the shallower size, the wide snare wires, the copper shell, you're gonna get a cracking sound out of this drum. And lastly, you get a remote controlled sound drum head. It's got the power dot underneath the head. So all in all, this is a stupendous, beautiful USA custom Gretsch snare drum. The last three drums in this little comparison here are sort of the creme de la creme here in this lineup. These are beautiful drums. This is a Craviotto Heritage Maple, a Rogers Dyna-Sonic, and an A&F Raw Steel. Now, all of these drums, these three drums are all under $1,000. So you're still not spending what you could. There are snare drums out there in the world, and we have some that are $2,000, $2,500. Just depends on what you want to get and what you would be using those for. Those really super expensive drums are more collector's items, but they're musical instruments too, so you definitely want to play them even if you spend that much money. But these drums are super high-end and very professional, and classic drums in so many ways. Let's start with this Craviotto Heritage Maple. What you get when you get up to drums in this price point is serious custom features and custom builds. And these are from boutique companies that build these drums sort of one at a time. Rogers has been around for a long time. Craviotto has been around for a long time too, but these are special drums because of the way they're built. The shell on this Heritage Maple is one thick ply of steam bent maple. Okay, it takes a long time to do something like that, and the craftsmanship has to be just perfect to get this shell in its round form and make a musical instrument out of it. So it takes a lot of work. You get this gorgeous natural wood look of the shell with these beautiful hand red inlays right down the middle of the drum. Again, that takes a lot of work to get the drum to look like that. These lugs are beautiful and custom to Craviotto. This Craviotto drum comes with a fantastic throw-off and strainer. This is the Trick GS007 throw-off and strainer, one of the best throw-offs there is out there. 3 snare wire tensions just by pulling the knob, 1, 2, and 3. Easily change the snare wire tension. It's notched on the inside as well. So that is a really great high-end feature right there. Triple flanged hoops on this drum, a single ply coated head, and the artisanship in the drum shell itself is worth every penny in this drum. The next drum I'm getting into right now is the Rogers Dyna-Sonic. Now, Rogers reintroduced this drum not too long ago, and it is a classic from the old days, back in the 40s and 50s. Rogers was a really high-end drum company, and it's great to see that they're back making drums again and getting that old classic style sound, look, and feel out there in the world, because it deserves to be there. A gorgeous piano black finish to this drum. So this drum will go with any drum kit you have. You get nice triple flanged hoops, Rogers beaver tail lugs. Now these are really cool looking lugs that just harken back to the old days of Rogers. Great look there. The most special thing about this drum, even though the shell is perfect, it's a great drum shell, is the throw-off and strainer. It's worth the price of admission for this drum, okay? The Dyna-Sonic throw-off. Check this thing out. This mechanism makes this drum different than any other drum that I've showed you in this demonstration today. This whole mechanism lifts up and goes back down, okay? What this does is this makes it so the snare wires can lay as lightly on the bottom head or as tightly as you want. It is a super cool system that's been around for a long time, but it was reintroduced again when Rogers came back out. So you adjust the snare wire tension on the top and right here as well. And it just makes it so you can dial in the sound of this drum no matter what you're playing. So you can get the most sensitive sounding snare or the most cracking and fat sounding snare all in the same drum with this Dyna-Sonic throw-off and strainer system. One other cool and old school thing on this drum is the internal muffle, okay? The knob is right here. You can sort of see it in from the bottom head right here. It's in there, and then the muffle will go up and touch the bottom head depending on where you have it adjusted. That is a nice old school feature to add to this beautiful drum. Last but not least here is the A&F Raw Steel drum. This drum is awesome, awesome, awesome. All these drums are awesome. But this, you're paying a premium price here for the custom build drum that A&F makes. They've gone into every detail to make their drums look old, but they're super modern. I mean, this drum can be used in any style of music, and it has such a fat sound to it. I mean, they patinaed the tension rods, the lugs, the tubes, the hoops, the shell, everything to give it that old school vibe. You got a leather patch underneath the badge right here, just to add to the flavor, add to the look of the drum. Any A&F drum you buy and you play on, you're gonna get a deep and warm sound to it. You tune up the drum, you make it higher pitched, you're gonna get a crack. They're loud, but always super musical. In keeping with A&F's vintage vibe, you get a single flanged hoop, very old school. You get claw hooks on the hoop instead of your typical triple flanged or die cast hoop. Very cool visual feature, but adds to that sound. A single flanged hoop like this is gonna give you a great crack on the backbeat. A beautifully simple vintage throw-off and strainer. The strings go right through the top here and tighten on, okay? Very easy to do. You adjust your snare wire tension on the butt plate side right there. It's notched, so you can't go too far or too tight. And this rolled steel shell is just beautiful sounding. Steel is a very loud drum, a loud shell compared to aluminum or brass. But the way A&F custom builds everything, every little detail of this drum, the way they do it just lends to a beautiful drum that is loud and cracking and would just be great in the studio or on the live stage. All right, everybody, thanks so much for taking the time to hang with me and go through these fantastic snare drums. Whether you have a little bit of money to spend or a lot of money to spend, you can find great sounds to add to your snare drum arsenal. Do you already have a metal drum at home? Well, then check out a wood drum. Do you already have like a 6.5 or deeper size drum? Then maybe go for a 5 or a piccolo, a 3x14. Change up the sounds in your arsenal. All of these drums have so many great features no matter what you have to spend. Just talk to your Sweetwater sales engineer and they will pick the exact drum that you need to kind of build up your vocabulary, build up your drum arsenal, and you'll be making music in no time and just really expanding your drumming. It's a lot of fun. I'm gonna turn these snare wires back on and I'm gonna play some more drums and take us out of this video. Join me again next time, everybody. Take care. Thanks so much for watching, everybody. Make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. Click right here for more videos just like these, or start at sweetwater.com for all your music instrument and pro audio needs.
like that. That was
I
actually.
think that'll be hilarious.